And we are live. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Johnny Dunn, and we are back with another one. Today, another epic VeVe live stream. Today we have Reese from the Ecomi team, Alex from the VeVe team. They're hopping on Discord. For the first time in a while, it feels like we're doing an actual Discord AMA, which is great to see. Usually we've been having these AMAs on Twitter, but today we're hopping back into the Discord. And in about 5 minutes or so, they're hopping on, talking about all the recent updates and all the concerns people may have had. And if you guys do have any concerns, hop into the Discord, ask some questions, but make sure you guys keep them in a respectful way, of course. And definitely tune in. I think it's the VeVe team that just tweeted out right now. If you guys aren't in the Discord already, they just gave a link. I will be tweeting it out right now. I'm going to be setting up the live chat in just a little bit as well, too. Got to make a thumbnail and everything, so just hang tight, sit back and relax, and enjoy what should be another great AMA. Shout out to anyone tuning in today. Just give me a moment. I'm going to be playing some bangers. Hopefully you guys can hear me and everything.
Gary said work hard. Gary said that shit. Gary said keep going. Gary said don't quit. Gary said them little things in life might be it. Gary said since 3rd grade I've been hustling like Gary. I know the feeling. I went hard since 6. I kept on building, put work into my wish. You're gonna make it.
Alright, cool. You guys can hear it.
Just love what you give. I say you're gonna make it. Just love what you give. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Needed motivation, he said follow me. You know a V friends cost like 40 G's. If you put the work in, you could live your dreams. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V.
Whoa.
I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Whoa. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Needed motivation, he said follow me. You know V friends, talk like 40 G's. If you put the work in, you can live your dreams. Whoa. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. It's a lifestyle, flipping NFTs. Now I'm up, 50 bucks, 100 G's. I got NFTs, shout out Gary V. Win after winning, it's a marathon. Hustling on my money, what I bet on. Grinding on my life just to stand out. I got NFTs asking for no handouts. I got NFTs feel like Gary V. Needed motivation, he said follow me. You know a V friends cost like 40 G's. If you put the work in, you could live your dreams. I got NFTs feel like Gary V. I got NFTs feel like Gary V. Whoa.
Let's go.
And kind of work in more of a, let's say, a more formal kind of presentation format, either like on YouTube or something, so you get some FaceTime with the gents as well as some actual hardcore updates on a either monthly basis or more frequent than that as necessary. I know we used to do a lot more on our YouTube channels, so the goal is to keep the communication flow open, have as much, if not more, transparency and discussions about certain issues, but really leave Dan and David to kind of go through the hardcore, roadmap and platform update discussions on kind of a YouTube video format, so it's widely distributed and you can go back to it and listen and not have to worry that you missed something on Twitter Spaces and then, inevitably hear it secondhand or look out for our Twitter recaps, etc. So that is the format. I appreciate everybody being here today, 1,000 strong and counting. Mods, thank you very much. They're going to help us out in feeding us questions from the voice chat channel, voice chat discussion channel. So if you have questions over the course of this, after we get through kind of our major updates, please post them there, and the mods will relay them to us after we get through these major bullets here, and then we'll start to bring some people up on stage as well for some discussion. So that's what this is. again, thank you for joining us, and want to also kind of just set the stage. And for those of you who are either new or not aware, I'm aware that generally the lines have been blurred a bit in that we all seem like we're all one, one entity. But Reese is from the what we call the Ecomi side, so he kind of handles more of the general kind of OMI token side of the business. And then I'm on the VeVe side, so I generally don't have OMI answers for you. So I appreciate people tagging me in their tweets and whatnot, but Ecomi is really where the good information on that front comes from. Anything about drops and platform kind of VeVe related stuff will come from me. That said, we do try to help each other out as much as possible, understanding that a lot of people have been here since the beginning and dabble in both sides of the house, both token and collectibles. All right, so that out of the way, there was a great article this week coming out of Vanity Fair that talked about NFTs and the new emerging business that is collectibles and non-fungible tokens. Really excited to see that in print. It was the information had been out there, but it was really nice to see it placed in the context of Rewind Collective, who you may be familiar with. We did some work with them in the early days of the platform, where we released a Givenchy collaboration and some trading card looking works of art, animated works of art through Rewind Collective, who focuses on LGBTQ plus and women oriented content. And we are excited to move forward with them with another round of releases next month in celebration of Women's History Month. So take a look at the article if you haven't already. We posted it yesterday in our Twitter feed.
I also just added it to the, if anyone wants to check it out, to the voice chat.
Voice chat. Okay, great. Thank you. So a couple of good sound bites, or rather quotes from David Yu and Amar Singh, who leads Rewind Collective, and we really look forward to continuing that partnership.
Yeah, that's going to get big
over the next months and years.
Absolutely.
Next on the agenda, addition types. So there was an article published last week, I believe, now that kind of laid out the new kind of stake in the ground for addition types on VeVe. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, these are things and tags like first appearance, first edition, con exclusive, etc. Now, admittedly, there had been some inconsistencies in the way we had dealt with those in the past. And that was just, a matter of us kind of figuring things out as we go. And there's going to be a lot of those kind of recurring, there had been a lot of those recurring kind of things with VeVe, where a lot of things were done early days that didn't have the likes of foresight into new product types to determine what the proper tag should be. That said, we are now putting the stake in the ground with this article, saying that characters, like basically things with people with storylines, so like the Captain Americas, the Spider-Mans of the world, will be characters worthy of the FA tag, first appearance on VeVe, and oftentimes the blockchain at large. And then vehicles, objects, works of art as first editions. So there were quite a number of things, a good number of things that were inappropriately tagged, let's say first appearance when they were objects or works of art, that we have now cleaned up. And I just want to stress that first edition and first appearance are, in theory, equal on the equal playing field, right? And it's just really a matter of classification in terms of the type of collectible it is. So, for instance, all of the, like the Avengers logo, the DeLoreans, Ecto-1, hoverboards, etc. All those things are now first edition, as they should have been. And then everything that, like, kind of the really early days, just to kind of keep the waters calm, if you will, kind of just stayed in place. That would include some of that first series of Batman Black and White and the first Harley Quinn. it's just one of those things where I think we just found it better to maybe not rock the boat significantly in that regard and just kind of let people have what they have had for over a year. But moving forward, everything will be tagged correctly, and all those changes are now live. So vehicles are first editions, objects are first editions. Captain Carter, Marvel Mighty, is now FA because FA is the only thing that's going to supersede a con exclusive. Luckily, there was only one of those kind of instances that they required a change amongst the con exclusives. But I think everybody will appreciate that it is a character worthy of its first appearance, especially given the Easter eggs that we've seen in the latest Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailers, where a shard of her shield is seen in the broken glass in the poster. Really cool. So hopefully people can enjoy. Hopefully people can look forward to seeing her in future MCU movies and properties, etc. So that's that. Thank you very much for your patience. And while we got that all together, and I think we have a really good plan of moving forward with addition tags moving forward. Next up, so there was a little bit of a hubbub earlier this week with Chaosium, providers of Cthulhu idols and Necronomicon, and Call of Cthulhu collectibles on VeVe that were some of our first con exclusives last year. So at the end of the day, Chaosium is not going anywhere, right? To put this lightly, they basically had to they succumb to the pressure of their tabletop gaming community, and as you may be aware, in the larger NFT space and specifically in gaming communities and tabletop gaming, there is a bit of a resistance to the concept of NFTs, whether that be for misinformation about environmental impact, or artist compensation, or the fact that it's counter to the organic nature of physical tabletop gaming. Now, obviously, you wouldn't be here if you didn't believe in NFTs and the potential of the blockchain and digital assets. But I think it's important to note that there are some folks that are still coming around to this, right? And while we respect Chaosium's concern for their community, I think maybe that was a little not handled in the best way that it could have been, despite our recommendations. Just leave it at that. I would appreciate, though, however, our Red Circle fam, VeVe fam, Ecomi fam, whatever, trying to understand where the folks are coming from. The fans in that community, Chaosium in general, and really just focus on trying to understand in education rather than, painting them as Luddites or whatever the case may be, right? At the end of the day, we know what we're doing in terms of embracing this new technology, but people are going to be slower to come along for the ride.
For sure. That's too. I mean, for 4 years now, we've been building with NFTs, and for 3 of those years, we faced this exact battle. Whether it was from community pressure or licensors misunderstanding or that kind of thing. And I mean, I don't want to call out the Chaosium community, but tabletop games from the late 70s, the fans and collectors of that IP will probably take longer to come around to NFTs than something that's newer and flashier. So,
which is totally understandable. I sympathize.
For sure.
This is, at the end of the day, we are hoping, and Chaosium themselves are hoping to bring a nuance into this legacy type, at this point, legacy type brand and format. So we're here to help them along with any education can. They are not going anywhere. We do have further drops from Chaosium, so they have not pulled out. We have not terminated our deal. They've just suspended for now. the planned drops that they had for us in Q2. That said, Reese, would you mind, because I have gotten this question on Twitter, would you mind just kind of touching, now that we have migrated to Immutable X, Ethereum Layer 2, just how different the quote-unquote science, or not the science, but the environmental impact and the carbon neutrality and the science behind all that, so that people are armed with the proper information when kind of debunking these theories that an NFT takes up the same amount of power as all of Singapore or whatever the crazy.
The latest. Look, there is a skerrick of truth to that on base layer Ethereum, right? It is quite computationally heavy, which does use electricity. Now, whether that electricity cost is outweighed by, you know, the cost of manufacturing physical goods and logistics, that's probably another argument. But Immutable X on layer 2, essentially the way their system works, it's called a Validium rollup. They can bundle thousands of transactions together off-chain, right? A lot of this information happens off-chain the same way an exchange works when you're making trades. And then they commit a proof, which is basically just the final record of, you know, this is the current state to the Ethereum chain. Now, that in itself is much less computationally heavy. It relies a lot less on the base chain Ethereum, and Immutable, and we, in combination, offset the carbon with carbon credits there. But that environmental footprint for Immutable compared to Ethereum is pretty well the same as what we had on GoChain. It's 99.9% more energy efficient and computationally, less computationally heavy. So the environmental impact there is very, very minimal, and then that is offset by the purchasing of carbon credits. So look, there is going to continue to be a lot of misinformation put out about NFTs from people who are resistant to this change, or companies resistant to this change. Everyone always has a incentive to push a bad narrative, and in the media that is usually the case. But in actuality and in fact, it is just not true. So just be aware of that. It's unlikely, in my opinion at least, that Chaosium will be the only case that we see like this. And they have a obligation to their community and their fans to really appease that too. So, you know, we stand in solidarity with them. As Alex mentioned, we will continue to arm these IP holders with the tools and genuine information they need to get this out there. But it's, you know, we're going through a state transition. People are becoming more comfortable with digital assets. There will always be pushback. There will always be these bad narratives until it just becomes commonplace.
Commonplace, exactly. We're in the midst of a sea change currently. So we ask you, to be empathetic to those who maybe don't have the level of foresight or understanding that you all have. And to that end, we appreciate you for being here and to be ahead of the curve, so to speak. Okay, so that's that. Power to Chaosium. All right, so quite a bit of hubbub also this week on a specific emoji. Let's just get right to it. In the last AMA, and wait, let me just take a step back. For those of you who have not, figured it out yet, I am not. I'm neither professional or mature. So, I like to approach everything with a bit of levity, humor.
And confirm.
Thank you. And you know, a fair amount of snark, and I assume people were in on the joke. That's aside from the fact that I talk like an idiot most of the time, and I have certain Alexisms, like spicy, that I say when things are about to get fun or more interesting or busy.
Just look at his
things are going to get spicy
picture
this week, right? Yeah. So I appreciate those who understand, or at least have heard me in my, either on Twitter Spaces or in my own Twitter space or these AMAs, to know that, I like to approach everything with a bit of a dry wit.
So you should just for a second.
Yeah.
We are a collectibles company.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be fun. So don't take it.
Yeah, like look, at the end of the day, we're selling Spider-Man, animated Spider-Man. So like, I love that, and I like to have fun using those in AR, and I think that it's worthy of a lot of some levity, because not only are we doing stuff that we love with IP that we love, like at the end of the day, like, could I have not fueled the fire? Sure, but let's maybe not take everything so seriously. That said, the narrative that I have somehow crashed the market on purpose to pad my bags or whatever the F people are spinning up FUD-wise, I wholeheartedly reject. Not only because we were coming off an unrealistic pump in January, but to assume that what spicy meant when I literally had said nothing about what that meant, and that it was absolutely not Pokemon. It's like, come on, people, we got to be a little more responsible, or ask me directly. And I assumed, and this is my bad, that I assumed people were in on the joke, so I ran with the whole chili pepper emoji. So my apologies. Again, spicy to me meant that we had a slow drop week that week, and that things were going to pick up at the end of the month. That's all it meant. So the market did not crash as a result of that. There was going to be another gem squeeze if we decided to announce another big IP or another big huge drop. That was going to happen anyway. I just happened to give you advance notice. So please use discretion when treating your collectibles and your selling and transactional decisions on actual data and confirmed announcements. But I will be note taken. I will be a little more responsible and spinning people up, because I do, as if you follow my personal Twitter, you will know that I like to tease people and get people excited, because that's what we do. If you pop into any Twitter space, any kind of any drop day live show, I'd say like 80% of that discussion is speculation, because that's what we like to do as a community. We like to speculate what's coming next, what the possibilities are for the platform as a whole, what new IP is coming, what are these, what's the next animated thing, what's going to be the next blue chip. So I get it. Maybe ill-advised to say that as early as I did in the month, so you gave you a whole month to kind of stew on it, but my apologies. It really is nothing more than we're going to have some pretty good drops here in the next couple of weeks, right? Had nothing to do with the Omi side of the house, because I don't talk about the Ecomi side of the house when it comes to emojis. That stuff is very important, and I treat it with the reverence that it deserves, because I know a lot of people are looking for hard updates when it comes to things like bot protection, MTL, etc. Okay? So
just on that note, it's probably important to note that we now have, I think as of this week, 2.1 million active monthly users. And people who have come across, that's insane, right, in and of itself.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, but the people who have come across from crypto and maybe understand market movements a little more might be more comfortable in this setting. But for anyone new, I mean, when you have that many users who all tune into the same narrative or the same FUD that happens on Twitter, that's what moves markets, right? It's the same panic selling, it's the same top buying. And because of the size of our user base now, the VeVe collectible market moves in these waves, right? We have an influx of users. Collectible prices go up, then people take profits, they settle again, and we start again. So to try and if your investment strategy is based on an emoji, do some more research, please. And two, to try and pinpoint that on one event is just not. It's not realistic. It's not a genuine event. These are just market phases and market cycles. They will always happen. I promise you this will not be the last one. So, please employ some common sense on that front. If you love your collectibles, if you're buying the things you like, you have nothing to worry about when markets move up or down. It's the same person.
Yeah, which, by the way, all markets do, right?
Yep.
All markets move up and down. Growth is not linear in any market that I've ever seen. So, that said, sometimes I answer people that I assume are in on my sense of humor, and it may come off rude or whatever. So if I seem rude to you, I apologize. You don't have to follow my personal Twitter, but if you come at me with like profanity or something on my personal Twitter account, you will get blocked. Just FYI. I don't, none of us have time for that.
No.
But I will be, that said, I will be better about, my general mannerism, my Twitter manner. Okay, so enough on that. Spicy is only an Alexism, and it only means that there are going to be a few cool drops, and that's it.
For sure.
Okay, that said, hard stuff. Let's get to it. Okay, so look, constant narrative as we go for this last couple of months has been security, right? Bots. Now, we've kind of talked about this ad nauseum. We've put out an article kind of outlining that, try to share with people as often as possible, with people still claiming that bots are getting every single drop, most of every single drop that we do. I mean, I don't know how many times how many different ways we can say, but it's just not the case. And every time we do see bots getting something in, touting their success, we're on it. Like some we're finding harder to block than others, but for the most part, again, those success rates are inflated for the purpose of selling more bots. Our security partners have been working diligently, finding out the methods in which they are getting any drops at all, and patching those exploits, right? So you may have seen waves of, account restrictions, people talking in bot-oriented Discord or Telegram groups that their accounts have been disabled. That's because we are on to them.
Let's go.
Are consistently making improvements
grinding.
and blocking out bot scripting and auto-clicking traffic. Okay, so if you are using an auto-clicker, if you have scripting or botting or a Theragun, just don't do it, because you are going to get restricted. It's against the terms and conditions, and it's just a matter of time before we catch up with it.
For sure.
That said, there is now a process in which we are moving through this queue of disabled and restricted account tickets, right? So the process is that we get the ticket, we investigate the account, and generally we are working through learning what that potential exploit was. Now, for the people, and just for the general large number of innocent parties out there who are not doing this stuff and have not been restricted, and see a lot of people on social Discord or whatever the case, that their account has been restricted or wrongly disabled. How can VeVe be doing this to innocent people? We take that very seriously, and we are the reason why there may be a delay in some of those answers on those tickets is that we are doing full investigations. And I will tell you that, like, the high 90% of times, they are using bots. They're using scripts, and we can tell that. We know. We've seen the logs. We can tell that you have multiple accounts in various ways that you are transferring gems, etc. We know all that. So please don't fall for I don't know what a bot is. I've never even a script. What is that? That said, there was a very small number of false positives that we do come across that we correct immediately, because we know that the blocking filtering has indeed disabled a small number of accounts, and we fixed those. So anytime you see on Twitter somebody like, well, mine was restricted, but it was fixed in 2 hours, or whatever the case, less than that, 20 minutes. It's because we oops, that fixed. But that is very low number type people. This is not like us just banning people at will, just because we feel like it. It is absolutely not that. We are trying to make this platform as fair and honest for everybody to participate in as possible. There's there are consistent improvements being made, and we don't get into the nitty gritty of how and why and stuff, because we don't want to tip our hands to those who are actually creating and selling bots, so they know then how to dodge the efforts. So we are working on ways to become, to be, I guess, more transparent about what that is without tipping our hands. But please believe us when we say that this is not a matter of us just restricting accounts at will. This is very calculated and for the good of the larger community. Okay? So appreciate your patience. If you feel that you're disabled in error, please file the ticket. We'll get back to you. To generally, if it's depending on the severity of the offense, you will get your account back. But if you have, essentially without, what's the word I'm looking for? So if it's absolutely obvious that you're like a huge network of scripts or botting or whatever the case is, I don't know the technical terms around it. I'm just a marketing guy.
He's the bot expert.
You're not going to get your account back because it was a clear violation of the terms and conditions. But it's like something like maybe you used like an auto clicker and you're like, and you didn't know, or whatever the case, or you were using
everybody knows you can't be using anything.
You're using a massage gun. You will, eventually get your account back. But please don't do multiple tickets, because all that's doing is putting the support team under stress and not to get to the actual tickets that need addressing for more issues than just disabling or restrictions. So if you have not heard back on your ticket, there's also a secondary way you can get a status or an update on that through here in the Discord. Granola, what channel is that here in the Discord that they can do a follow-up after 7 days?
10 days.
It's
10 days.
10 days. It's the disabled tickets channel. It's under the support, or it's disabled reports, rather. It's under the support category.
Great. Okay.
Just on that, and Alex, you may have been about to touch on this, we also have a bot reports channel. So if you're being contacted by bot sellers, if you have proof, please don't just send in suspicions. Taking a photo of the marketplace doesn't do anything for us. We are already on top of all of those listings and monitoring those. But if someone has offered to sell you something they've claimed to have sniped with a bot, if you have any sort of addition numbers or conversation proof that you can provide, please jump into the bot reports channel and submit that information so that we can investigate.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest with everybody, chances are we've seen it already, and we're onto it. But it always helps to have additional context, right? So it's not like we don't see it or we don't care. It seems to be a popular narrative, like, well, we're making the money anyway. Care because that's ridiculous. And we need to look after the long-term health of this platform, and eventually the marketplace, once cash out is available, and we don't need a bunch of bots like making the marketplace an absolute hellhole. So yes, we are aware that there are some people sniping on the market floor. Yes, we are aware that there's some bad actors in there, but for the most part, a lot of what we see when people send us pictures of the market, we look into those and we take them seriously. And a lot of times, just like people they're flipping, which is fine. It's not against the terms and conditions, but they may not have a public profile. And sometimes we do see that they are bots, and so we disable them. right? But a lot of times, it's just somebody who just happens to pick up as many as they can and then relist them at maybe $5 more than what they paid for it, just to kind of make short-term gains so they can get the next drop, which is a respectable strategy. It's just not everybody operates that way. And, you know, to that end,
Also,
like, we do take it seriously, and we're looking at ways to disable the kind of market sniping thing.
Also, if I can just add something to that real quick.
Yeah.
When you're submitting your ticket through the Discord, please make sure that you have already submitted a support ticket through the official VeVe website. The support staff will need your support ticket number, and you'll need to provide that in the Discord ticket here. Otherwise, the ticket will just be closed.
Purely for if you haven't heard back for 10 days, right?
Yes.
If you're submitting a bot report, you can do that directly in Discord.
So many people in here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
but for the
again-
disabled tickets, you'll need to have a support ticket number first.
So any copy and pasting you see on social just about the please file a support ticket when people are saying my account was disabled, that is
So many
honestly
people.
just due to volume of other concerns that the social team is addressing with the number of tweets that we get. I mean, the volume has increased incredibly over the last year, obviously, and now that we have 2.1 million users. Obviously, not all of those users are on Twitter, but a good majority are. So copy and paste is just a matter of efficiency, as well as it is for the support team, right? So I know we all would prefer a more personal touch in our support tickets, but it's just for efficiency's sake, and especially when we're dealing with people outright lying about their botting activities that we can clearly see. It's just an easier way to get through the queue. So we appreciate your understanding on that front, and know that we are constantly improving those security measures. So we don't want you to continue to be frustrated with the drop process. You're not landing any drops. I'm not landing any drops. I'm frustrated, but being on the inside, I don't blame it on bots. I blame it on just the sheer number of users. That said, the queue system is coming. I know we say soon. I know everybody's tired of soon. I am retiring #soon. It is dead to me, as is the chili pepper.
As is.
Sound
a little salty.
So look, the queue system is in development. We've seen it. We're testing it internally. It's just a matter of front end integration and testing. As you can imagine, with 2.1 million users, if we roll something out, it had better effing work. So please be patient. I know it seems like maybe like we don't care or whatever. I don't know why that seems that way, but we want to make sure with everything we do that it works. And obviously, there's still a fair amount of bugs in the app, admittedly, that we are constantly working on. But
I wonder who I blocked.
I can assure you that the queue is of utmost importance. It is in development, and we are looking forward to finally moving to that system so that it's not a battle of fastest fingers.
I kind of like the fastest fingers.
Yeah, and one just on that one comment I see quite a lot, or demand more so, is people requesting that we stop doing drops until the new system is integrated. Not practical for a company whose core business is to sell collectibles, but we're also on some pretty limited schedules with a lot of our licensors. There's a lot of content to get through. They have their own plans for marketing and promotion for these products. So if anyone's wondering, I mean, we will continue to operate as we do until the new system is integrated.
Great, thank you. And sorry, I kind of took a serious tone on that. I just wanted to make sure that people understand that we do also take it seriously. So I'm not going to try to keep it light through that portion of today's update. So we hear you, but we are working on it.
Yep.
That said, Reese.
Yes.
What's up with Cash Out? What the hell? When cash out? Can we cash
When
out already?
cash out? Oh, this is a bane of my existence. This week, I've actually put together our instructional article. Most people will know that I don't write things unless we're close to releasing. And from next week, we will let in another batch of testers. The internal testing has been going quite well. I think this article will go out next week so that you can all get a pretty good look at it. And just to reiterate there, it will continue to roll out in very small batches to begin. For anyone who was around 12 months ago when we took the market offline, we rolled out the same way. And the logic and the idea there is to obviously roll out to a small group of people that we know and communicate with so that we can properly test this system. And once we're comfortable with that stage, we roll out, say, to the next 100, then maybe to 500, then 1,000, and before long, everybody has access. So, on that note, I guess we'll talk about it. I don't know if we've spoken directly to the actual KYC process before.
Oh, please do. A lot of people are interested, as am I.
For sure. Now, the payout feature and the KYC and everything I'm about to mention all happens through the web wallet. If you're new to the fam, or if you just haven't seen it yet, the web wallet is... someone got it there. It's not omi.vv.me.
Isn't it?
No. Oh, it is. No. Yes, it is. Sorry. I thought I was looking at the token tracker. So, omi.vv.me. There you will see a login screen, and you can log into that using the same credentials that you log into your VeVe app. Just a note there, it is your email and password, not your username and password. I know a few people get stuck there. You will be sent a 2FA email the same way as when you log into your VeVe app. And then essentially, once you've logged in, if you've never done this before, you can just see your wallets. You can see your Gem wallet, you can see your Omi wallet. And underneath your Omi wallet, you can see a payout button. Now, for most people, this will be grayed out as it's not available yet. But once you have access, and of course, we will announce, sort of when the next batches are coming in or those larger testing groups are coming in, that payout button will be available to you. Now, the first time you run through this process, you need to complete KYC, or Know Your Customer. Now, anyone from crypto or that dabbles in crypto will know exactly what that is. Anyone who just uses VeVe, this may be a new process to you. Now, essentially, KYC, a part of a broader anti-money laundering laws and regulations around the world, and it just requires us, or more so our third-party provider, to collect some ID verification from you, basically to prove that you are a human, that the transactions you're making are not some form of money laundering, that kind of thing. So, to complete your KYC, you will need to enter some personal details, including your name, address, country, email address, those kind of things. You will also need to provide the number from one form of government ID. If you're in the US, you can use your national ID card, social security number. For everybody else, a passport or a driver's license will do the trick. Now, during this initial KYC process, you only need to enter the number from your ID. The MTL provider will contact you to request the actual verification, like the actual ID, and make sure that it matches up with the details you have provided. So, just to reiterate, the MTL provider will collect those details. We do not store any of that personal information. We do not have access to it. Our interface is actually plugging directly into their system. So when you're providing that information, it is going directly to the third-party provider whose sole job it is to make these things happen. Once you have completed entering those details, you'll also need to enter your payout method. Now, in the initial stages of this, that means withdrawing to your bank account. And we are offering, or our MTL provider is offering, most of the major currencies. So off the top of my head, I think it's Australian dollars, Canadian, Euro, British pounds, Hong Kong dollars, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollars, and US dollars.
That's big.
Now, if your home currency isn't one of those currencies, it's still fine. You can still use the payout feature, as your bank will do a currency conversion on the inbound transaction. But what I would suggest to anyone is probably to contact your bank or your financial services provider, whoever you're using there. One, to make sure that you can accept incoming transactions or payouts in a different currency. And two, just to see what fees they will charge. On inbound wire transfers, I think you're typically looking at, maybe $25 to $35 USD. That will be standard for anyone withdrawing to a bank, I think. Currency conversions, I know in Australia, you're usually looking at around 3% of the transaction value, but that will change depending on your bank. So again, if you don't use one of those primary currencies, USD will probably be the right choice for you. I think most banks around the world would accept USD. But again, you'll need to check with your specific bank as to what they can and can't accept. And of course, if they don't accept, if they can't actually receive a wire transfer from our payout, I'm sure there's other banking options you can explore from that point. So just something to note there. You will be required to provide your banking details, account numbers, bank name, that kind of thing. And again, that's the end of our KYC process. Once you've submitted your personal details and banking details, our MTL provider will contact you. And that will be via the email you provided. They will give you a link to a secure uploading page, which is where you will upload your proof of ID and your proof of bank account. Right? I'm assuming it will be a bank statement or some proof there that you own the account you have mentioned. That's usually the way these things progress. So from the time that you submit your KYC, you should expect to hear from them within about 5 days, after which point all communications happen with them. So any issues with KYC, if they reject your application, if your data doesn't match up, you need to go through their support. And I will link their site and give you some info on the MTL provider in the article that we release. Of course, you can change your banking details once you've completed this initial process, but every time you change those details, you'll have to go through the same thing with the MTL provider. You'll need to provide the proof that you own the account you're changing to. So good news on the way on that front. Once you've submitted that, you will just see a pending screen. I think Alex shared a bodgy screenshot the other day of that.
We'll touch more on that, but yeah.
We'll touch more on that. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. So stage 1, KYC, provide your bank details. Stage 2, the MTL provider will get in touch with you to give you that secure upload link so that you can share your ID verification and proof that you own the account. Once approved, you'll return to the web wallet, omi.veve.me, hit the payout button again, and you will be taken to the payout screen, basically. Let me give me half a second here. I'll just share a screenshot so people can see this in the chat. Voice chat discussion. Okay, if anyone's not in the voice chat discussion and wants to have a quick look at that, it's a pretty simple screen. You can see at the top that there is a request payout button and then edit payout method. So for the sake of this, you would be using the request payout. On the next screen, you'll enter the information that you want, how many gems you would like to withdraw. Now, this will give you the value in gems that you are withdrawing. There's no sort of indication as to the amount of local currency you will receive, and that's for a number of reasons. Obviously, a fluctuating exchange rate, but there will be fees and charges imposed by your bank potentially that come in, currency conversions if you need to account for those. So it's just not feasible for us to predict what you will receive on that front. We can just say what the value of the transaction that you are cashing out. Once you enter those details, you'll see a final confirmation screen. It gives you our fees as well. So just to be very transparent here with fees and withdrawal times, and you will see this on the screen. Few numbers. There is a 50 gem minimum withdrawal amount. We'll know pretty quickly, or you'll know pretty quickly what your bank is going to charge. But if you're assuming a $35 withdrawal fee from, not withdrawal fee, wire transfer fee from your bank, and you're only withdrawing 50 gems, the likelihood that most of that value gets eaten up on the way is it's pretty likely, So there's a 50 gem minimum withdrawal, but I would advise people to wait to withdraw a larger amount, so you're not losing a lot to fees. In the early stages of this rollout, you need a minimum gem balance of 1,000 gems before you can trigger a cash out or a payout. So something to note there, you will need a gem balance before you can make a payout. There is a 10% transaction fee applied by us. That goes to the MTL provider and obviously maintaining this system and running the company. And the maximum withdrawal amount, at least for now, is $50,000 in any 7-day period. So that probably won't apply to 90 to 95% of our
That's pretty
collectors.
awesome right there.
But just something to be aware of there. If you have withdrawn that much or are trying to withdraw more, there is a limitation on how much you can withdraw in that 7-day period. Now, those withdrawals, once you process and confirm your gem withdrawal, it can take up to 5 days to be approved on our end. It should happen quicker than that, but it can take 5 days. And from that point, you're looking at around 7 to 14 days before that money arrives in your account. Now, just to give people some insight on that, that is not a delay on our end. That is a traditional financial system delay, essentially. We use wire transfers or the SWIFT system. And if anybody has ever sent money bank to bank overseas before, you'll know that it usually takes about 2 weeks' time. And that's what this transaction is, right? You are essentially withdrawing or paying out from our accounts through the interbank system to your own bank. So from when you approve your withdrawal, you're looking at 5 days or up to 5 days, and then potentially another 2 weeks before you actually see that money hit your account. Again, that is not a delay on our end. That is a banking system delay. It is also why most of us move to crypto. So just be aware of that. Yeah, sorry, go Alex, you got something there?
No, I was just that comment was funny.
But yeah. I mean, that's the why, right? Now, a couple of AMAs ago, we did mention that there would be some restricted countries from KYC. We probably should have mentioned a bit more detail on it then, but that is nothing out of the ordinary. If anyone has ever used a crypto exchange, the ordinary sort of restricted countries would be any that there are US sanctions against. Syria, those kind of, I hate to say this, but more restricted or regulated countries, really, more fringe countries there. So we're not talking the US, we're not talking Europe, we're not talking, where the vast majority of our user base is from. Everybody will be able to cash out from those countries. I don't think that would be unexpected to anyone else. But in this article, I will add a list of supported countries and currencies just so that people can be aware of that. But if you've dealt with any sort of crypto exchanges before or anything similar, it's pretty run-of-the-mill there. Outside of that, guys, as I mentioned, any issues with KYC during this process, you'll need to direct at our MTL provider and their support. Our support does not have access to your information or verification details. But again, I will include that in the article as well. And I'm waiting for an answer on this, but at least to my knowledge, I think you can only have one payout processing at a time. I'll get final confirmation before this article goes out, but just be aware of that too. I think that pretty well wraps up the information we'll put out at the moment. Keep an eye out for that article. We'll obviously tweet the living daylight out of it when it is available.
All right. So thank you very much, Reese, for that rundown. And thank you to all of you for your patience through this process. Now, why has this taken so long? Several reasons. And I want to be very clear when I say that this is not a matter of us pushing it off by any means. Due to several, regulatory changes, anti-money laundering laws, etc. Not to shift blame, but the goalposts have been essentially moved on us a few times. It required us to kind of change course a bit. And so now that we have the provider, the bare bones of the front end, and it's a few rounds of beta testing in progress now. We are looking forward to continuing to roll this out for testing, just to make sure that it is ready for prime time. Obviously, we want to be very, very conscious, since we're handling people's money, to get it right. So that said, I did share a screenshot in which there are a few screenshots that I shared for the KYC approval process in the voice chat discussion. Obviously, I shared that maybe prematurely because I don't want to give people the impression that that's what it's going to look like, because it is pretty janky. That is purely the beta front end for those that are testing. Is mainly proof of concept. It'll look much better. It is not the final design. It is not some weird shady site that we're directing you to. I just wanted to be very clear with people that who were asking for details or calling to action, our larger kind of influencer community, to find out who these people were who were beta testing, because I think VeVe's lying. It's just not the case. I think we have very, very few people at this point participating in very specific tasks so that we can make sure each of the different functions work, right? It is not a matter of special access for whales or any of that. Anybody who had like a large gem balance who was brought in to test, and maybe in the 2 or 3 people were given very specific tasks on, hey, try this amount and let's see if it works, so that we can get further approval on that actual license from the various world banks and regulatory agencies. So again, communication probably could have been better, but at the same time, we have definitely not been, holding anything back, lying, as we think some people have accused us of. It's just really a matter of making sure the regulatory requirements have been met, and that we are testing thoroughly this platform. It'll look much better than the screenshot that I shared. Please respect, it is a private beta, and so please respect, the fact that it is private. We're not trying to. I don't know what any other company would share a list of beta testers with their larger user base, because that's the point of a private beta. But know that we are continuing to move people into the testing circuit, if you will, and we'll look forward to publishing this article and finally crossing the finish line on this damn thing. After a year or so,
just
unexpected delays.
It hasn't been a year, just to be clear on that. Everyone likes to say, well, we've been working on this for a year. It's, I think we started scoping this out May last year, right? So it definitely hasn't been a year yet. Prior to that, we had the ability to send, to move Omi out of the app. So that was kind of the initial cash out. But as you mentioned, Alex, a lot of rules around that changed, and that had to be changed. And again, just to reiterate, this is people's money, right? This is people's money. It's like less than, you think we've seen complaints so far. I mean, if we stuff this up, then obviously things would be much more serious. So we're always going to take our time with this. And just on these developments, while we talk about them in AMAs and people know that these things are coming, because we want you to understand that these things are coming, we never release the specific details until they're ready. It's not practical. Things do change. A lot of things change last minute. So, you can take some confidence in knowing that when we are putting these articles out, or when we are speaking candidly like this, it's because we're pretty well there. Prior to that, demanding details, we will always make the right judgment call, or our best judgment call, as to when this information and details can be released. So, if you're not hearing it from us, it's not a thing. That's probably what I want to reiterate there. Yeah.
And just to quickly touch on circulating narrative, in that another company has offered their cash out for US. Understand that we are a much different entity, and that we are a worldwide release of this product, given that our audience is worldwide. Most of our user base happens to be in the US, but a good amount are across Europe and other parts of the world. So just releasing in the US to start would not be a great move for us. And also, we also operate a token as part of our underpinning economy, right? So there's additional complexities, regulatory complexities, that we need to clear when it comes to rolling out something of this magnitude. And so while we applaud our competitors for rolling that out on a timely manner, we have obviously some good learnings to take from that. We are hoping to get this out ASAP for everybody so that we can go on, building this community, building this market, and really start to see the actual long-term potential of these collectibles.
Yep, perfect. And obviously, we're doing this on a live app, not one that hasn't launched yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think people should, but we can leave that there. That's fine. A couple other updates, Alex, and then we'll whip into some questions.
Yeah, we'll wrap into take some questions. Omi, you want to take some Omi updates?
Yeah. Not too much to update just yet. I'm still waiting for OKX and Gate.io to tell me sort of the final date that they will stop, that they will swap to ERC20. But their deposits are still disabled. And the other two exchanges, Ascendex, as a reminder, is only using the new ERC20 OMI token at the moment. And Bitforex is currently offering both, or tokens on both chains, which, if you haven't swapped your tokens yet, I was under the impression the manual swap site would be our only option post-migration, and it will be soon enough. But in the meantime, Bitforex is offering both. So if you know what you're doing and you're paying attention, you can deposit the old GoChain token and withdraw the new Ethereum-based token and let them sort of handle that. But you need to make sure you've selected the right chain when depositing and withdrawing. Same if you're returning these tokens to your own wallets, make sure you're returning them to an ERC20 contract address. Oh, sorry, wallet address, not contract address. So just be aware of that. And otherwise, the manual swap site is obviously there for you. If anyone has been waiting to swap those tokens, Ethereum gas prices have been coming down lately. I did see them under 30 or 40 way the other day. So, worth keeping an eye out while markets are quiet. Can take advantage of that and save a bit of money on the gas fee. Now, a few people are also waiting on an update to the bridge. For anyone who doesn't know or may need a refresher, the OMI tokens that are in the VeVe app are layer 2 OMI. The OMI tokens that you can use on exchanges are layer 1 OMI. So before we get too far, I just want to reiterate that you cannot send layer 1 OMI to the VeVe app. So you can't send directly from the exchange to your VeVe app. You can't send directly from your personal wallets to the VeVe app. What you have to do is a thing called bridge your tokens. Now, essentially, that's just another interface that lets you deposit to layer 2 or withdraw to layer 1. Now, my intention was for our bridge to be open by now, but we're waiting on a few bug fixes on the IMX side of things that have prevented that. So I think what we'll do initially, and I'm still waiting for bug fixes before I can roll this out, is direct people to use IMX's platform to be able to bridge between layer 1 and layer 2 and then send to your OMI wallets in the app. Now, there is absolutely no need for anyone to do this just yet. Right? You can't use the tokens in the VeVe app. So the only people who would want to do this are those who may have sent their tokens into the app but now want to use them on exchanges or something like that. So I will release instructions on how to use the IMX site to bridge, but I'm still waiting for them to fix a couple of bugs. So until they fix that, I'm not going to direct anyone there. So just be aware that that's the current situation of the token bridge. As soon as we have that in place, we will I'll roll out some instructions for you there. The only other update, if people haven't seen token.veve.me, that is our token tracker. You can see these details in the last Ecomi wrap-up that I put out, the January wrap-up. But it basically tracks all token burns now across layer 1 and layer 2. There are a few tracking bots on Twitter as well that will keep you updated. Now, once a week, that bot will say that 0 OMI was burnt that day. All that essentially is the system working. So there is no burn function on layer 2 yet. So once a week, we have all the tokens that are due to be burnt, we withdraw them to layer 1, and they're burnt on layer 1. So anytime you see that token burn amount as 0, it's probably just flagging in that withdrawal period, which can take about 10 hours to withdraw from layer 2 to layer 1. and then the tokens are burnt. But again, if you haven't seen token.veve.me, check it out. I think we are very close to burning 30 billion tokens. So 30 billion tokens almost permanently out of circulation, alongside the 97 billion or so that are frozen forever in contracts. So, we can see that token supply is pretty quickly deflating. I mean, we're down to 120, 130 billion tokens are permanently removed from circulation already, or from the total token supply, I should say. So just an interesting site to keep track of if you're not aware of it. I think that's about it on that front. Updates. I know everyone's asking when exchange. That answer hasn't changed for him. As soon as we fit in their queue and when we can legally make an announcement, we will. Until then, we're all just sitting by.
Oh, it is. A question about the liquidity pool that quite a few people have been asking.
Yep. What's the question there? Just
I think they're just confused as to what it is and how it works.
Okay, so in crypto you have two types of exchanges: centralized and decentralized. Now, centralized exchanges are the Binances, Ascendex, Bit4x. Essentially, they're managed by a single entity or company, right? And listing on those exchanges, you need to wait for them, basically, right? There's all the legal approvals, all the sign-offs, all of that. Decentralized exchanges are run by autonomous code, right? So Uniswap and SushiSwap are the two main decentralized exchanges that you have probably heard of, and they work differently. So in a normal exchange, for you to sell a token, you need that order to be matched with the buyer of that token. Right? It's a sort of buy and sell interaction. In a liquidity pool or a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, you have a pool of tokens, right? And for our example, especially the pool that's been started by the fam, that is OMI and USDT. OMI ETH. Right? Anyone could start an OMI USDT pool if they wanted, but the current pool we have is OMI ETH. People who contribute liquidity to that need to put in both sides of the pool. So if I want to put $100 of OMI in, I also need to put $100 of ETH in, right? And that keeps the token pool balanced. But what it means is I, as a trader or a speculator, or if I just want to buy some OMI tokens, well, I can just plug into that pool, swap ETH for OMI, and that's it, right? I don't need to match my order with someone selling OMI or ETH or either of those. You just go in and swap. That's actually what has enabled you to swap tokens through MetaMask now. So you can use their swap feature and swap directly to and from OMI. So basically, Uniswap is an exchange that we as a community, our liquidity pool, we have control over. And anyone can contribute liquidity, and as a reward, you earn a portion of trading fees within that pool. I think it's 3.3% gets distributed to liquidity providers. So it's a good way to earn some passive income on your tokens if you're just holding them. And if you'd like to contribute liquidity, Uniswap has a pretty good explainer out there just on how to deposit. But I will put some more specific instructions together for our liquidity pool. But basically, that's a community initiative, fam. That's an exchange that anyone can use from any country all around the world. And the more liquidity that we all contribute to that pool, the more functional it is as an option for people to purchase tokens. So that is a Uniswap wrap up in 2 minutes. But yeah.
All right. Okay, so look, we're a little over the hour. This was considerably longer and less casual than advertised, but in a good way. So hopefully we got some good information out. Hopefully, thank you for sticking with us. And again, appreciate your patience on all the various issues and concerns. So what I'd like to do now is take some questions, not only from the voice chat discussion, but bring some people on stage just to kind of spend some time, and fielding those questions that we didn't get to in this update. So, mods, if you could do your thing. Let's see, what do we want to do first? Have you been taking questions down from the voice chat?
Yeah, I have a couple here.
Okay, great. Let's go with Eagle first, and then we'll go to.
All right, so from Salt, we have a request. Is it possible to get a push notification for when the market opens / when your drop gets delivered to you?
Okay, great. So we are working, I know we, like with a lot of VeVe things, we've been working on refactoring, pushing this functionality out. This is a big priority of mine. As the marketing guy, I want to do push notifications of substance with throughout the app. So yes, that is a possibility. We are working on refactoring that entire push notification back end, and I will be asking the community on what types of push notifications they would like to see in addition to what we generally need to update people on when it comes to either market is back open or service outages, known issues, or items sold, auction closing soon, all of the good stuff. New drop announced, etc. On the Discord front, we are looking at ways to have somewhat of an automation in the announcement channel, that when the market opens back up, that it just kind of pings everyone in the announcement channel. So stay tuned on that. We are hoping to, be a lot more communicative on that, since the time seems to be fluctuating a bit from the quoted 30 to 45 minutes after drop time. So good question. Thank you.
All right, and another one we got from Gino FP. Can we in the future display our comics on some kind of stand and let people see it like that when they're in our vaults, or when our comics getting into the vaults, basically?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good question. So what I've seen the mock-ups, I've seen kind of the beta on it, and it is in development. We are getting close. Hashtag near future. We are. It actually looks really cool. It almost looks like a display case, if you will. You won't be able to read the comics in the showroom just because of the different functionality required, but you will be able to display the various covers in the showroom, and that is currently finished wrapping up development, and I hope to see it as soon as possible. Steve, what you got?
Okay, cool. So I got a couple, probably more directed over to Reese. One from ET said, how do people cash out that are under the age of 18?
Yep, that's a great question. I'm assuming they probably won't be able to if they're not responsible for their own finances, but what's our age limit in the app? 13?
Right, yeah. So those between the age of 13 and 18, is there a process for them? Is it parentals that will have to KYC basically for that gap? What are we going to do for those?
That is a great question. I will find out for you before I put this article out. Leave that with me.
Yeah, I'm sure Dan knows offhand.
Oh no, yeah. It is. Yeah.
Okay. Any other one, Skeet, before we bring some people on stage?
Just one more I've got from Amy Lilly. Again, more towards Reese. Is there any further update on sending any NFTs to IMX? Is anything being worked on that? Is there some sort of update?
Not yet. No, that's one of the next integrations. IMX is still integrating with other marketplaces. I don't think OpenSea is not live on there yet. Things like that. So at the moment, if it was available, the only option would be to move it to the IMX marketplace. I don't know how much work they're really putting in on that. So there's a few integrations there we're waiting on. And obviously there's some tech on our side. Yeah.
Just to kind of reiterate, we're waiting on IMX on those integrations. Otherwise, there would be nowhere to take it.
No, it is. Yeah, right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that question. Let's go ahead and bring one or two folks on stage. And
hey,
we'll
Alex.
get to some questions. Hi.
I had one more question. Can Reese clarify the gem thing? It was a 50 gem minimum to withdraw, or what was it? Because others are saying something about 1,000 gems in the chat.
Yeah. The minimum balance of 1,000 gems to trigger a payout, but the minimum withdrawal is 50 gems. So you have to have over 1,000 gems in your account. Now, look, that might change as this rolls out and as the master collector comes in and all those kind of things, but this is the initial rollout. So minimum balance, 1,000 gems, minimum withdrawal, 50 gems.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Hey,
Hello.
Sparky, Agent 1Z, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, thanks.
Basically, I was wondering if there's any additional measures being talked about or possibly rolling out with to prevent people from listing their collectibles for like super cheap at like $2 for $1,000 collectible.
Are you talking about like mistake listings?
Yeah, mistake listings. Somebody basically, you probably seen somebody listed one of those Donald Duck golden moments for $2.
We actually see it every drop. Every drop.
Yes. Yeah, it happens all the time. I was wondering if I know Top Shot, it messages you if you're it notifies you if you're listing below floor, things like that. I was hoping to help some of these people that are basically losing a lot of money over a mistake.
For sure.
Yeah, so we do see it, and they do get publicized widely because it's kind of one of those community-wide oof moments. Like, oh my God, you feel for the person, right?
Yeah.
We do have confirmation in the app to make sure that you're listing at the price, the actual price that you want. Additional protections in terms of like this is below floor.
Yeah, we're going to roll out the web platform, I believe.
Yeah, web platform. Okay, great.
Yeah. Just as you mentioned, so there's a notification to say, you're listing at this price below floor or that kind of thing. As Alex said, there is a confirmation screen there, so please pay attention when you're listing these things. And
yeah, there's no rush, everybody. There's no rush.
And just on that,
take your time.
Huge shout out to everyone in the fam who purchases those and manages to find the owner and return them. I do see a lot of that happening on Twitter. It's incredible and humbling to see take place. As everybody knows that this person's made a mistake. So, look, if you do happen to be the lucky recipient of one of those collectibles, I would hope that you'd consider doing the same and returning it to that owner, even though it obviously is going to be hard to let go of. But big thank you to everyone who does contribute to that effort as well.
Okay, thank you, Agent. Let's go with Minnesota.
Hey, Alex. First of all, my bad for misquoting you on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'll
here's
do better
the
next
I
time.
don't have an Australian accent.
I just had one question. Do you guys expect to drop any more golden moments in the future?
Expect? No, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Let me just touch on this quickly because there's a vocal minority of people that call me a liar for saying there wasn't going to be any golden moments. Because at the time that they asked, I said I don't think there is going to be any more. There was not any more on the schedule. Obviously things are fluid. Things can change. Disney can say, hey, we really like how these performed and we love the reaction to them. Let's do one for Valentine's Day. And we said, great, let's do it. And so we did it. This is not a matter of us, I don't know, somehow rugging the original set. These are all, actually, by the way, the original Golden Moments were not one set. They're all individual sets. Each day is an individual set. So this is just an additional set. So if you don't pick up Lady and the Tramp and Donald Duck and Daisy, that means you have a complete set because they're each their own set. You just want to make that clear. But it's not outside of the realm of possibility that will be some future golden moments, but they won't be as an extensive or related to Disney Plus Day as the original rollout was.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Minnesota. Let's see, who do we got up here? Oh, it's just you, Shadow. I thought you were a new person. Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
When will we begin to get more news or see something regarding the VeVeverse?
Ooh.
A few people are asking that about the VeVeverse.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So it is in development. Specifics on that are kind of like larger scale platform vision wide stuff that I'm going to leave to Dan. I wouldn't feel comfortable voicing that what I've seen and heard about it just yet. But it is in development. Blue Chip DJ.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Good sir.
So I wanted to ask about what a gem is. I mean, somehow we've gone a year. I maybe you've asked this before. I've just forgot. But like, what is a gem? Is it considered an in-game currency or
In-app currency,
digital currency or crypto? I mean, because I think that's going to be important to know what the actual gem is in terms of like each
gems are in-app currency.
You mean beyond just being the in-app currency?
Yeah, just for tax purposes, so we know, like, what are we dealing with.
Yeah,
Reese, do you want to take this one?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, as most of you would know, the gem is just an in-app currency. It's not a cryptocurrency. It doesn't live on a smart contract or anything else. It represents two things now. It obviously represents the dollars that you have put into the app or someone has put into the app. And while those gems are unspent in your account, they also represent a hold of OMI tokens that moves with our token flow as purchases are made. So for all intents and purposes, it's an in-game currency, in-app currency. From a tax point of view, which is why I'm assuming you're asking this question, thus far, without cash out, there have been, and hang on, I should caveat this, please confirm this with your own taxation advisors in your own country, but, I mean, without cash out, there's technically been no taxable events. Right? You're trading for gems. So I would, again, confirm that, but, yeah, it's an in-app currency.
Yeah,
and please don't listen to anybody on Twitter, Discord, or otherwise who's not an authorized CPA about what this means. We're not accountants either.
So, yeah, my answer, and by no means is this financial advice, but she essentially had the same sentiment. I mean, she only looked into it briefly, and of course, just to echo what you guys said, like obviously everyone should look into it. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of what I thought it would be. On that note, so you did mention before cash out. So now that cash out is coming, we can maybe the status of a gem might be more something like an actual currency.
No, the cash out, the definition of gems and what they do will be the same. The cash out just changes your own taxable liability, and that's something you kind of need to investigate there. So it depends on how you use the app, how often, that kind of thing. I mean, I know for any Australians out there, I would look into this. There is a bit of a collectible caveat. If you bought a collectible under $500 or under $5,000, I don't think it's subject to any sort of capital gains. That might exist in other jurisdictions, so worth looking into. But no, the definition of a gem doesn't change. It's just your personal tax liabilities that change once you can recoup those gains. Yeah.
Interesting. And on that note, is there going to be better? I hope it's a priority that we get some better tools to, even if it's just we can export our data to the tax software. That would be so helpful, just that one thing. Because, at the moment, we can't even see what mint numbers.
Yeah, without opening each individual thing. No, yeah, I agree with you on that front. That would definitely be helpful for all of us. And I think it's a planned integration when the web wallet or the web platform rolls out. It'll just be easier to sort of export that info from your wallets. Now that everything is on IMX as well, once more of that information is sort of provided between each platform, you should be able to do it from their Explorer too.
All right. Okay. And just two little things more.
Sorry, we have a little bit of time left. Sorry, Blue Chip, we need to move on to some of these other questions, but feel free to hit us in the voice chat. Maybe we can get to you later. Okay. Appreciate it.
It's always a long anime.
Toaster, let's go to you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
So I have two questions related to comics. Recently, you guys added comics, so we could see comics on our profiles, but we couldn't see it on other people's profile. So is there a fix to that?
That'll change soon.
You mean an account on your profile page?
Yeah. And as well as
okay.
Or is there an update to that?
Oh, sorry, what was that? Can you repeat that second part?
Is there an update to seeing comics in our showrooms anytime soon?
They just asked
Yeah,
that.
so
Answered that,
just
actually.
touched on that. I'm sorry if you missed it, but it's in development. It's looking really good. They will kind of appear like they're in like a display case of sorts, and you'll be able to put those in the showroom. It's just a matter of we can deploy that to production, and it's final beta testing on the maneuverability and the whatever else needs to be vetted by the showroom team. But yes, it is closer.
Soon.
Just on
that, displaying the numbers on the profile. Yes, I think the product team is aware of that. I know I've brought it up, so I would expect to see a fix on that soon.
Yeah, I think there's also talk of adding comics to your profile, to the collectibles that appear there. Has that happened yet? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's on your profile as you can see it, but it's not visible to other people for some reason.
Yeah. But the count of comics is so.
Yes, yeah. All right, thank you, Toaster. Heather, hi.
Yeah, sorry, Heather, I just unmute you there. Go for it.
Hello, Heather.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Hi.
Okay, great.
Oh, you just
muted again.
Do you have push to talk enabled, perhaps? You may need to hold the button down.
There he goes.
Maybe in the meantime, mods will...
Well, in the meantime, I'll bring the else up, and we'll get back to Heather. Fancy, hi. How are you?
Fancy fingers.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to
Well.
meet you guys. Just a quick question on behalf of the Vaultaholics.
I already know the question, and yes, yes, we're working on it. So,
okay.
The selecting of collectibles, one behind the other,
That's
and then
tough.
you can't like deselect or whatever, and you end up moving the wrong one. Correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. Aware. Apologies. We'll be working on it. There should be a fix on that soon.
No problem. We're good to be like that, and bug you guys.
No, I appreciate it. No, because look, when you guys aren't able to create those masterpieces, it's less things for us to share on a daily, weekly basis. So it's hurting my soul as much as it is yours.
If you guys want to fix that in the showroom,
one other quick side point.
Yeah.
With the vault, I don't know if this is even with the vaults crashing within the vaults to a certain point, you really can't do anymore. Is there anything that you think can be done with that, or is that just something you have to wait for the?
It's a bit of a device limitation, I think. I think it's your phone.
Yeah. I think there's constant optimization happening as well. So yeah, as those issues come up,
if you select something and you select the collectible in the back,
because it's such a heavy use of phone resources, those things kind of tend to
how I'm able to kind of get around it
pop up all the time in our internal QA, and so we really rely on some kind of on user reports to kind of go back in and pinpoint them.
Just move that collectible really high up or really high down or really far down.
No problem. Thanks for all you guys do.
Then you can always make it the right height.
Heather, do you want to try again?
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much for bringing me up here. I had two quick questions. The first one being, continuing forward, can we expect to go back to the Tuesday, Thursday comic drop, Saturday collectible drop? And then also, other than the already spoken of Givenchy drop of sometime in March, are there any other plans for International Women's History Month?
Yeah, so let me quickly clarify. The March drops that I referenced earlier are not Givenchy related. They are Rewind Collective. So Rewind Collective is a gallery curated by Amar Singh, and that is who we will have further releases from in the month of March for Women's History Month. As far as International Women's Day, I believe it's the 7th or 8th of March. We're still working on that, but it really just depends on what licensors have appropriate content to release on that day. In terms of quote unquote going back to a schedule of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday collectible, we did get into a bit of a pattern there, though I would never say that there is going to be something to be expected moving forward for specific days being attributed to specific types of collectibles. It really is about when we can, as we onboard more licensors and more collectible types, including comics from Marvel and soon from other providers. We're going to need to shift things around a little more. I think generally for here in Black History Month, we had a few more to get to from Marvel. So we had the Monday, Wednesday, Friday situation. I think we'll still be looking to figure out what that looks like moving forward. But I wouldn't bet on anything, any one day being dedicated to a specific collectible type.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. And actually, last thing, where you talked earlier about like the security support team and stuff and accounts being disabled and the process for that, is it expected to maintain an external or a separate company for that process? Because the support tickets that goes to a different security team, is that correct? Or is it the security team flags the accounts and then VeVe?
No. I'm sorry to cut you off. The support tickets go to the internal VeVe support team. The only reference to like an external security team is just the layer of protection that we use to filter out bad actors, essentially, and they don't have anything to do with support.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, that's all the questions I had today. Thanks for bringing me up.
Thanks, Heather. Love your channel. All right, Silicon.
What is going on, guys? Thanks for bringing me up. Two quick questions. One is, obviously with the cash out, people are now thinking, okay, what is the structure around NFT to OMI, and maybe more details around the fee structure and how that'll be handled. Will MTL be required, or will KYC be required? And then my second question is, finding out a lot of these accounts got locked that were botting. How do we get visibility into what is circulating NFTs and what are locked NFTs, and more visibility into transactions of what's happening in the marketplace would be amazing, because we see a lot of listings getting manipulated in different ways, and to have transparency, I think, would be helpful for people buying and selling. Thank you.
So good question. So just so I'm clear, you're looking clarity as to which collectibles are essentially quote unquote out of circulation as a result of being in a restricted account. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, just more visibility about what's circulating, and even like some of the NFTs that were burned. I think for Captain America, things like that, having more visibility.
Yeah.
What's actually there and what's not, and then what like VeVe has, because VeVe also has certain mint numbers. So if I'm looking for a certain mint number and I know that I'll never get it because it's in VeVe's account, then it's good to know as well.
Great point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you may know, you can bet on never having 1 through 40. But in terms of the other questions, that's a good question, and I think we are looking into ways into updating the metadata to properly reflect what is in quote unquote circulation. But that's more of a Dan question. So let me take that note, Silicon, and get that back to you for either a future article or another one of these quote unquote casual get-togethers.
Maybe the other part of that is just visibility and transactions. Will that come with the web application? And then my first question, when NFT to OMI, and more details around that, because people are thinking like, oh, cash out's going to be expensive, so is NFT to OMI going to be the same thing, or what's going to be the differences?
Yeah, so there is a bit of preliminary information. I think it's in the OUP article that details that. Now, from off the top of my head, from memory, I think there's a 2.5%. Oh, sorry, no. A different percentage of the transaction will be burnt based on the staking tier that you're staking in or not staking in. So that will be burnt directly from circulating supply. So there's an OMI fee there. There is still going to be a gem fee that needs to be paid so that we can pay licensors and so that we don't need to sell the token down to do that. So those kind of fees, the normal success fee, will still be paid in gems. And to my knowledge, it's peer-to-peer transacting, so other than the fee that gets taken to be burnt, that should be it. That shouldn't be a...
Oh, that would be sweet. Okay.
Yeah, as far as, I'll confirm that fully, but, when we're closer to the integration. But we're not... There's no there's no third-party provider there that we need to pay a fee to, like with the MTL. So I don't think it would be anywhere near as severe if it's that. So something to pay attention to. And just on your other point, the tracking for collectibles that get burnt, like the Captain America, should be pretty easy to display. But when it comes to the active circulating, those numbers could really only be concrete for permanently disabled accounts. So I think it might take a little bit longer to kind of integrate that. We do give people a chance to KYC their accounts and all of that. So we couldn't really have a system of rapidly fluctuating numbers if there's false positives and if there's accounts at basic levels of scripting or whatever you want to call it. But we'll ask.
Yeah, and maybe that changes on a daily level. Right, Reese? But just for example, I can look at Todd and say, okay, all 7,500 are available for trading, or actually there's only seven available or something like that.
Yeah. I think it'd be a great feature. I agree with you. I don't know to build, but we'll find out.
All right, bud. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Ash. Appreciate it.
Let's move on to Doctor of Stuff. Hello, sir.
Hello, everyone. So I just had two quick questions. The first one for Reese was regarding, and I kind of tweeted you out on this. I'm sure you get a lot of tag tweets, but with respect to the circulating supply that's outlined in like CoinGecko, right, when we're trying to do technical analysis and we're trying to look at like market cap, I know that you had talked about sending them updated numbers because you kind of addressed that here, right, where there's like a burdened amount, there's some that are locked up, but CoinGecko shows 750 billion still. So is there something in the works really to clarify what the current circulating supply of OMI is for some of these websites that kind of track that? That's the first question. And then the second question is kind of related to what Silicon Secure was talking about, but when you guys identify these bot accounts and you basically restrict them, those collectibles, are they locked up, or are they somehow refunded those gems, and then what happens to those collectibles? And if you guys do take them back, then just a suggestion: how cool would it be if you did a blind box drop of all the bot collected
That would be pretty cool.
So something to think about.
Yep. I do really like that idea.
Let's go.
So just to come back to your first point, yes, I've submitted the updated information to CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. They now go through their own internal reviews there. So to get that done, we had to build some APIs and all of that kind of stuff, which some absolute legends in the community helped us with. But just to kind of give you some insight there, there's people that are still holding the wrapped OMI token, there's people holding GoChain OMI, and there's people holding the new ERC20 OMI. Now the details that these listing sites have been provided should update to reflect all of those. So when people manually migrate their tokens from GoChain to Ethereum, it will update that kind of thing. But I think at last count, I'll have to find our contract on the scanner, but I think maybe somewhere around 400 billion tokens have been migrated. So there's still quite a lot of OMI floating around out there that has not been moved across yet. And the numbers might still be a little off until that happens, but the info we've provided should keep a pretty accurate track of that, so you know exactly what's going. And I've also provided them with info on the current circulating supply and the maximum circulating supply. As most OMI holders would know, of the remaining, call it 650 billion tokens, there's another 350 or so that won't ever come into circulation. So pretty pertinent to provide them that information too. I know when people come in and see 750 billion, they get scared of the high token supply, but less than half of that can ever actually come into circulation. And now that the last Founders Unlock has happened, we are almost at a fully diluted supply. They're almost all in circulation from this point on, so that's really positive as well. As to the collectibles in bot accounts, so we have two levels of restriction. So there's restricted accounts where those users still have access to the collectibles they purchased and can show them off and display them and all those things, so nothing happens to those. For the permanently disabled accounts, at the moment, nothing is happening to those collectibles too. There's always going to be some legal grey area there that needs to be crossed. But I do really like the idea of a blind box drop. I don't feel right recharging people for the same collectibles, even though they were bots. But I'm sure we can do some fun things.
I think Dan mentioned that we would possibly do some of those giveaways in the future, but again, we need to. That's not confirmation. We just need to figure out reality.
Yeah. So I'm more likely to use it for promo and giveaway than resell them. Yeah.
Blind box bot drop.
Quickly, I just want to. We still have a fair amount of people in Clubhouse. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully, you're getting some good information out of this, and hopefully, this is a format in which we can, look forward to happening in the future. It's not that Dan and Dave don't want to talk to you. It's just that Reese and I are much cooler. People love our jokes, apparently. Okay, so Reese, how much time you got left? Because we are at 12:40, and we still have a lot of people left. I'm sure that I can see there's a lot of people with their hands raised. Do we got maybe 20 more minutes to go?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I can clean the schedule for the afternoon.
Let's do that. And then so please limit your questions to one. I know a lot of people come up here with the two-part questions. Let's just do one, please, so that we can get to as many as possible. Sparky, did you have some from voice chat as well?
It is strange. I don't feel congested at all right now.
Yeah, I did. Somebody asked, like, for the disabled accounts, their listings are still up.
Are they?
Yeah. So can it be changed that they're automatically delisted when they're disabled because their stuff is still up on the marketplace?
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Okay, I was told that was not the case, but maybe I'm just ignorant. So, which is not out of the realm of possibility. So let us check into that, and we'll get an answer from you. But I do agree they should be.
Okay. Yeah, because especially if they're bots and they're still selling and they can cash out.
Well, I mean they can't cash out anyways. I'm sure we'll still be listening.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you.
Yeah.
I got one quick one there for Reese, just to see if there's a update on the next stage of a OUP article.
Yeah, guys, I'm waiting on Mr. Dan to get me these final models. So nothing has really changed on that front. I have pushed him every week since the first one came out, but obviously he does deal with quite a lot during his day. So I mean, as soon as
I'm throwing Dan under the bus,
I'm trying to. I'm doing it. Yeah,
come on, Dan.
He's busy. I get it, and I'm waiting for it as much as you guys are. I'm really just waiting for him to finish modeling the final staking tiers, and obviously figure out the legalities around that too, what we can and can't offer. Many of you probably saw the BlockFi lawsuit of the last week and a half, albeit they're offering a product, but there's a lot of scrutiny on this space at the moment, and we tread pretty carefully with that.
And let's just be very clear that is the delay. It's not a matter of like getting to it of legality kind of type stuff when it comes to anything to do with token utility, etc.
Yeah,
so we need to be above board.
Yeah, if we're incentivizing
it's better to be safe
buy a whole crypto, we walk into a pretty interesting area of law reform that needs to be addressed. So stick with us. I'll get it out as soon as I have it.
Cheers, much appreciated.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, we left Sergio hanging here a bit. What you got?
Yes, thanks for having me. And I hope this hasn't already been mentioned. I missed the very beginning of the chat. My question is regarding the Master Collector program. Any updates on that, on the development? How is that all coming along?
No real updates to speak of, though it is in development. We published the last kind of release candidate article. We have prioritized a couple of different things. Obviously, TL is a big one, and some other general app improvements, but we'll be moving into like wholehearted. Not to say it was any development on it to this point has been half-hearted, but just up the priority list on MCP as soon as possible. But as a reminder to everybody, all of your points are retroactive, so you're not missing out on any collector's points for holding in this time that it takes to actually launch it. Cool. Obviously, we want to have the queue and the raffle all squared away before we do launch it, so that people can immediately take advantage of those features.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. All right, Whale Watcher, help.
Whale Watcher. The Whale Whisperer.
Whale Whisperer.
Whale Whisperer, sorry.
Hey.
He only answers the Whale Whisperer.
Yes, hello.
Hey, yeah, I had a quick question, some clarity on something. So with VeVe and the way the marketplace is set up right now, I just have some concerns with it being a deflationary environment, with it being a closed ecosystem right now until we get that cash out. And obviously, it's meant to be collectibles from VeVe's end, but people are investing in this as if it's an investment opportunity. So my concern is with the way the market caps are set up right now and the price points. Does VeVe have a plan when MTL is introduced, that when they get that outflow of capital that's within the app, right, how are they going to end up keeping people within the app?
Master Collector
And
program.
is there a plan to ever
Pokemon.
transition the app more to a social media site to blend it with the VeVeverse?
It is a social media
to
site.
basically allow people to DM each other on there, view each other's showrooms, and find a way to create incentives besides just a point system to keep them
That's
on,
all
such
coming, man.
as introducing some type of staking program where each NFT will generate you an X amount of income from VeVe, almost like a dividend that will be paid out in APY or APR for each user. That way people will be forced to keep their collectibles on VeVe, thus keeping capital on there and keeping the ecosystem more into an inflationary environment.
Yeah, I'm happy to field some of that, or as much as I can remember. So first and foremost, VeVe is a collectibles app. Okay, if people are choosing to use these collectibles or anything else as an investment or an investment opportunity, that's their choice. Yeah. Second to that, we price our collectibles very well compared to normal products, compared to the rest of the NFT industry. Whatever happens to them in the market past that is decided by the free and open market. It is not on us to determine the prices that these things hold or maintain, nor is it on us to drive those narratives behind any particular collectible. So I wouldn't necessarily say that the market is deflationary by nature, but of course we have more than 200 brands and licenses, all of which want to release content and have huge backlogs of content, which is what, you know, that's how collectibles are determined long term. Right? It comes from those narratives or that desire or that enjoyment for people to hold. When it comes to the social media side of things, assuming you're leaning more into app retention, the master collector is obviously a big part of app retention. When collectibles can be sent off the platform, you're not going to be able to do any of the fun things that you can do with them in VeVe. Right? None of these other platforms have AR or those kind of things. So that in and of itself, the utility value of the NFTs within the app are part of the retention strategy. And our retention rates are insane at this point. So look, I personally believe that is working. Now, messaging, social media side of things, absolutely. We are definitely aiming to build in a system where you can DM your friends, direct trade features. So instead of listing in the market, you'll be able to list almost like a private listing and provide somebody with that link or that sort of or direct them to that listing so they can purchase. But obviously having friends lists, have any sort of social interaction there, we definitely want to build out. And most of that will come with the web platform and the VeVeverse as that becomes more immersive and interactive. Did that cover things?
Yeah. The only thing I would just add to that is I agree you guys are a collectibles app and that's the company's goal in mind. So I don't think you guys should have any control over the market anyways. That's dictated by the people within the market choosing to pay prices for these things. That's not on you guys at all. But yeah, retention rate's high, right? We can't. It's a closed environment, so people can't leave. My concern just is when they can. If people are going to just try to cash out and then use it as you'll have fewer people on there. I'm just thinking of the way that you retain once it's open environment, and if it's something you guys can consider about doing some form of staking with these NFTs, which I think will also add to that long term. But I appreciate you guys pulling me up.
No problem. I do personally love the idea of staking NFTs. There's a lot of integrations with DeFi and those kind of things, but anywhere a reward is given for something like that, this is why we kind of don't offer this with Omi, really treads a fine line legally. You know, there has to be some sort of work being done for some remuneration, and I don't think that under the current legal frameworks, staking an NFT would qualify as that work. So look, definitely, I'm not going to rule it out. It's something I'd love to see in the future, but it won't be part of the initial strategies, I don't think.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Whale. Let's move on to Nana. Hello, Nana. You're on mute.
Hello.
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 Yeah, good day, everyone. I want to find out, would there be a day that people can visit your, let's say, your VeVe to come and have a look at your collections and everything?
Yes, absolutely. That is in development, not only as part of the app itself, but also the VeVeverse. Essentially, I think it's been explained by Dan in the past as your quote-unquote home or space in the VeVeverse will be like a version of a public viewable showroom.
Yeah.
So we kind of
Just it's going to be like it's like your own personal space.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Oh, okay. And what about voice chat? Will we have a voice chat there?
Yeah, not outside of the realm of possibility. I hope so at some point, because I'm especially realizing how popular and how involved our community is on Twitter Spaces and such. I would love to have a voice chat someday, but we'll have to see what Dan has planned.
Yeah,
okay.
I think.
All right. Thank you. I think that's all what I need to know for today.
No worries.
Perfect. Now, thank you so much.
Just on that note, in terms of sharing your showrooms and things, if you're not aware, you can share your showroom directly to the feed in the app, and then share that with friends and family. So they can actually drop your showroom in their lounge room and walk through it in AR, in case you weren't aware of that feature. Yeah.
Great. Guile, is it Guile? Goodell? Hello?
Oh.
Hi.
Well, you're a little quiet there, mate. Can you?
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Can you put the mic closer to your mouth? Or turn your volume up, maybe?
Might have lost him.
All right. Yeah, sorry, Guile. We'll move on, and then you come back. Let us know.
Might take that chance if there's any other questions in the voice chat discussion. Mods, anything?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it.
Anyone got anything?
Any of the mods have anything
pertinent?
Let me try. I'm trying to mix up the tier of hands up so that we have a good cross section of active and newer folks. But so give me a chance here. Let's bring up.
Perfect.
Okay, Icon or the guy.
Man, my VeVe birthday's coming up soon. It's finally starting to hit me. Like, holy cow! It's almost March already.
Oh, nice. So I assume DC Comics will be blind box as well, will it?
Well, try, mate. Nice try, guy.
Nice try.
It's worth a shot. All right, I have a real question as well.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think it was an AMA 2 weeks ago. But is this working? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Was talking about reserving an order when you're in the market, like 2 or more people going for the same thing in the market. So is there any update with that?
I think it's still currently in development. I'll take that note to Dan and see if I can get an update on that, but I don't have any real updates on that front yet.
What was the issue there? Is it just the messaging?
No, it's just, if you go into like right after a drop, try to get the floor. You're halfway through the purchase process and it's try again or unsuccessful or whatever the message is.
Yeah.
There is going to be moving it more towards like kind of a reservation, so you have time to finish it, so somebody can't purchase it out from underneath you. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Also, guys, do we have any updates on the new drop system? That's a question from voice chat.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier. It is, it's still in development. I think the main piece of info there is that it's the front end needs to make sure that we are handling the queue properly, as opposed to having just kind of a click to purchase button that we have now. So it's just really kind of like final development and testing before we move it into production. And we probably will end up doing a bit of a, I don't want to say a test drop, but more like a less consequential drop to make sure that it is working properly. So, I'm just spitballing here and thinking off the top of my head, but maybe like a VeVe logo or some kind of, inconsequential.
VeVe logo confirmed.
Not a top tier blue chip. We're not going to roll out for the first time with the first time in the queue. Like, we want to make sure that it works and people are used to the experience. So we'll be doing a fair amount of preparing people for the new experience, either through educational material on social, articles, etc., so that it's not like, hopefully people won't be blindsided by it. Because it is going to be quite different than what we have now.
How about dropping accessories to test it out?
I don't know that accessories are going to be treated the same way that drops are, because they're accessories as opposed to like
limited.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what that.
Yeah.
Just essentially the drop. I'm sorry, Reese, real quick. The drop itself will be more accessory in nature, I think, than an actual collectible. So like I said, a VeVe sign or something.
Yeah, or shelving or something like that.
Shelving.
In case that people have missed this detail as well, when that new queue system is being rolled out and tested, we will still run drops with the existing system until we fully transition. So they will run concurrently. Maybe we do one drop a week, one drop every 2 weeks to start with the queue system, make sure that's working, fix anything that needs to be fixed. But other drops will still be happening. So just be aware of that as well.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, great. Icon.
Hey, hello everyone.
How are you?
Okay, quick one. This is Icon from Nigeria.
Hey, what up?
So great to be part of this conversation. Okay, my first question, really, I need to say this. I'm
keep it
tired.
to one question if you can, if you're able, because we got limited time.
Oh, okay. So it's concerning the drop. When I changed the drop system, for the past month, I couldn't get anything on drop. I keep buying in the market. No, really.
Oh yeah, no, I'm laughing because it's the same for all of us. If I get one in 20 or 30, I'm pretty happy. Look, I don't have an ETA yet on the new drop system. I think we're probably looking at 2 months from full integration. Maybe we start testing it before that. But it's a matter of when it's ready, more so than when we want it to be ready.
Sorry to cut you off. Another suggestion, all right, concerning votes. I know you guys are really trying to tackle these votes or whatever of the thing. So I was making a suggestion. Is there any way you compensate any users that complain about votes, or any user that hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, yeah. That any user that open tickets concerning both, is there any way we can compensate them? Maybe more people will turn up to expose these boats of a thing, because I'm tired. I'm really tired.
Yeah, so there's a reporting channel. It is called
I know.
Pod Reports. Yeah, so that is.
I did myself a couple of times.
Perfect. That's the best way for you to get information to us. From each drop, every drop that happens, we actually block. I think the most I've seen is up to 32% of incoming traffic that is identified as bots. So we are attacking this from all angles. From the fan, we ask you to continue to report these to us, and to obviously not support these bot sellers. And from a security standpoint, there's quite a lot of fail-safes and mechanisms in play already. But it is truly a game of whack-a-mole. We adjust our systems, bots learn something else, we squash them, bots learn something else. So it will be ongoing, but the best way you can support us is to continue to report those bot accounts. We may as
just to reiterate, our success rate is improving
by
the day. It is. I know it doesn't seem like it.
Seems like more
we
people
understand the
reselling.
frustration.
Like
You know,
more
I've
real
thrown
people
my phone across the
in the
room
markets
on
today.
several occasions. But you know, again, I hate to say this, but you got to take us at face value at our word that we are seeing a lot more success in terms of bot restrictions and disabling.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, look, on that, you don't even have to take us at our word anymore. I mean, more than 300,000 accounts have been disabled. I've seen the posts all over socials of these bot accounts complaining because all of their wished. I mean, like you can see the evidence there, so it's not.
Yeah, trying to unload gems, etc.
Yeah, they all get.
Yeah, and one thing, guys, is that people make alternate accounts and they're talking to themselves, just responding to themselves, and you can get people, and it's the same guy. So that's
that's incredible. Okay, we only have a few minutes left here, so Nexus, you better have a good one, and you better be representing the entire Twitter space family at large. Don't waste my time here.
Can you guys hear me? Damn, Alex. Thanks for the pleasure. I'm representing one community at least. It's the developers community. So I've had network issues. I'm not sure if somebody asked that, but for as far as the API goes, you guys, we're really foaming at the mouth to build these tools. Is there any sort of, because OpenSea has an application form where we can kind of like fill out a form, give some reasons as to why we would like API access to the API key. Because as Tapgate.io, I want to upgrade it and provide a lot more information to the community without scrounging through the public API. If anything.
I feel you. I believe Dan gave an update on this last AMA, but I don't want to speak out of turn. Reese, do you remember what the actual update on that was?
I'll speak out of turn. That's fine. We are absolutely looking to create a public API and open access to that. I won't lie in saying that it's not at the top of the priority list at the moment. Obviously, MTL and all these other things are taking precedent, but it is absolutely in the works. I think, from memory, what Dan was saying was we sort of need to move a lot of that data to an independent server so that it doesn't affect VeVe and all those things if there's a lot of calls going to and from. But yeah, it's absolutely something we want to get out. I'm super excited to see what is built. I mean, what has already been built is incredible. So yeah, I'll stay on them about that, but I think we'll get over the MTL hump first, and then we'll reassess what we can do.
Because I'll tell you how thirsty I am. Like, I didn't want to do how, Rebel's been going through a lot of hardships doing manual entry, and then I had to build an image recognition so I could take screenshots and upload the data that way. So I'm that thirsty for more information, man. So any news on that would be
Shout
great
out to
for
Nexus.
us.
No worries, man.
All right. Yeah, no, we hear you, and it's something obviously we want to empower the community. Data is you definitely want to empower the community with more data. Can't even speak. That's what 2 hours on a Clubhouse knows. So yes,
try to go live every day for 4 hours.
Yes, we feel you, and we will. You'll be one of the first to know because I know you are a talented developer, along with
shout out to Nexus,
a software engineer K. Anyway, Rebel Deck, etc. All right, Nexus, appreciate you. We'll see you tonight on Don't. I hope.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna be there. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
All right. Okay, so with that, you guys, we're at 1 o'clock.
Just quickly, sorry.
Shout out to Claire.
Come on.
Where's Claire? Bring it in.
Because everybody's losing their shit, I just want to just confirm that 30% of the users are not bots, because I think they've misinterpreted what you said.
No. That's I don't know where we got 30%.
That was
incoming traffic up. So for any given drop, up to we've seen up to 30% of incoming traffic is blocked for whatever nefarious activity. So that doesn't mean that 30% are getting in and getting the drops. Absolutely not.
I think they confused the word
blocked over the course
for bots.
since we implemented security measures, 300,000, right? You just have the number you said, Reese?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in total, that many accounts. So that's like somebody setting up a bot with like 6 phones, and you kind of extrapolate that over. Like they're not getting in.
Yeah, not even getting in to get to the drop. That's the whole point of that. And exactly. That is available in the bot article on the VeVe blog. That information is in there too. So if anyone misinterpreted that, it's not saying... Yeah.
Or in case you missed it, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Indeed.
So look, I appreciate that. That's actually good clarification. So forgive me for yelling at you, Claire. But you know,
I'll forgive you.
Losing your shit is not something I put beyond the fam. That's for certain things, and I again appreciate everybody's patience. Hopefully, this was useful, helpful for many in the community. I really appreciate you rocking with us for like a 2 hour straight.
It was a long one today.
Knocked out some of these larger issues. I don't think that Trusty Jailmite is on vacation, so I don't know if this is being recorded for purposes of archiving on
your boy's
the
recording
Discord,
it, don't
but
worry.
I'm sure one of the YouTubers streamed it.
Your boy's got it on
again,
lock.
Quickly, let me touch on, just generally, please use your best judgment when buying and selling your collectibles based on something that either I have said in jest or passing without true confirmation. I will be better about not spinning people up, but I do like to have a bit of fun with people, and there is a good amount of the community that does enjoy it, but apparently not everybody. So I'm not going to perpetuate the whole spicy chili pepper emoji thing. I've been trying to just let it run its course. I'll just say quickly that it just meant that there was going to be more drops than coming soon of import than there was the week that we had down AMA. Okay? And if you still have a problem with that, come at me, bro. We will see you soon. Reese, any parting words on that front?
No, look, I think that's it. Obviously, we still took up a bit of time with updates today. Moving forward, really, I want to open these AMA spaces to just take your questions. We'll use the YouTube videos to put out those major updates. So again, moving forward, we'll really aim for that. I'll try to open these spaces a bit more regularly too. I mean, we still had more than 100 people waiting to ask a question there. So do apologise to the people we didn't get to today. As always, you can drop your questions in that voice chat discussion when we do these AMAs too. And we'll try to get to them. But outside of that, Alex, people can catch you tonight at what time for Don't AMA Volume 5?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't going to plug my own shit, but 5 p.m. On Twitter Spaces. It's a music and chill space. If you feel it absolutely necessary to ask me a VeVe-related question in a space called Don't AMA, feel free to do so. I'm not going to be a dick and not answer your question, but let's chill. Let's have some vibes. Special guest Crypto Rose going over some of her favorite music picks.
Is that you, Miss
I'll
Rose?
continue to do that just as a good hang, just to kind of get to know people.
I think it's a different Rose.
Yeah, go ahead. Eagle, did you have something?
I was just going to ask.
I lost you.
I was asking if you take music requests and stuff.
Yeah, during the course of the evening, we requests. I have a couple of features that I do, little short playlists, history lessons and whatnot, and we take an open request for people to just rock to and vibe to, have some music type discussion. Again, this is purely a personal thing. This is not a VeVe related thing. It's more kind of just me wanting to hang with my community.
Well, and that way people can learn your humour a little bit more, which may be. But if anyone isn't on Twitter Spaces or isn't actively involved, I mean, there are some incredible community hangouts that take place. OBL's Chat Tuesdays, Gamma and
shout out OBL
for back of the class on a Thursday night.
Shout out Gamma emoji.
It's an amazing place to connect with the fam. So if you're not already over there or
also shout out
those kind of things,
that's my guy right there.
You can just listen in. You can absolutely be an anonymous listener.
there's some good strategy, kind of like community, learning sessions too. Like, I know Silicon, who was up here, is frequently up there. Blockchain, Rick James, Sam Alice, etc. They all have really valuable info to share based on their own experiences, and they make sure to be responsible about it. It's not like financial advice. It's just hashing it all out, figuring out what the best way to organize your collectibles in a showroom, and other juicy tidbits.
Yeah.
But
cool. On that note, just for anyone who is still here, I have seen some spaces brazenly using the VeVe name to try and lure people into scams. So just pay a bit of attention to that. If things seem a bit off, they probably are, right? If they're names you don't recognize or anything like that. But someone did warn me of that the other day. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and again, I don't just kind of reiterate what he said. We'll open these more casual. We'll spend more time actually answering questions. I know the community's been running a little hot on some of those issues lately, so we goes out and really get ahead of any of the FUD. So hopefully that helped, and appreciate you. This is an ever evolving space and platform, and we hope to keep you abreast of the situation as humanly possible.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Just want to let everybody know that we also do drop shows here on the Discord every drop day as well too.
Absolutely, good call. So every drop day, an hour before the drop, I think, in this clubhouse.
Is that an hour before? There's chances to win free collectibles from the
granola games, and the community donated prizes. All the mods contribute or have their own giveaways as well. Discord's a dope place to hang out as long as you're not a dick. so please hang out. Shout out to the mods. They are to help, and they're very good at answering questions, whether it's in market chat, home chat, VeVe chat, or the specific interest chats. I know Eagle is also very helpful with getting through specific issues and tickets, quests on specific issues you're having on the platform, and moving it through to the support team. So shout out to Eagle and the rest of the mods for continually holding it down here on Discord. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate all of you. Thanks for coming. Have a great day.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and we will catch you on the next one.
Later. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Thanks.
And that's it.
Yeah. Market chat's the best chat, so.
How do I end this thing?
That's so great. Caught a little egg at the end there. That's funny. Appreciate you guys big time for tuning in today. Hopefully you guys learned something. I know a lot of people aren't on Discord, so a lot of times they're not able to get that kind of information. Let's see. I'm gonna exit out of this. Exit quietly. Boom, boom. Once again, guys, appreciate you big time for tuning in today. All the likes help out big time. All the new subscriptions help out big time. All the comments in the live chat, you guys are hilarious. I was trying not to laugh the whole time. But hopefully, you guys learned something new. Learned some of the new updates coming soon. Hopefully that takes care of a lot of the concerns people may have been having with the spicy chili pepper. Appreciate you guys big time. I'm going to be signing out today. Hopefully I remember to exit out the entire stream today. Last time I recorded something like this on the OBS studios, I don't think I exited out fully, so hopefully I do that today. Last time I was just so excited for my comic book to come in. But appreciate you guys big time for tuning in. Make sure you guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I put out updates all the time. Appreciate you guys for all the support. With that being said, I'm signing out. It's your boy, Johnny Don. We out, fam.